Hey there, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast, the show that's all about helping photographers just like you build a thriving business without sacrificing your sanity. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned full-time photographer and marketing coach, here to fill your earbuds each week with practical tips, real-life stories, and a whole lot of encouragement. So if you're ready to dive in, let's get to it because this girl means business. Hey friends, and welcome to a brand new year of the Girl Means Business podcast. Happy New Year as we dive headfirst into 2026. Now, I'm not someone who gets overly excited about the new year. I am not one of those people who's like, it's a fresh start, it's a clean slate, it's just the next day on the calendar. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little tiny bit pessimistic in that way. But I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I don't believe that like you have to wait until January 1st to start something new. I think it's a good time to, as a marker, to kind of reset or recalibrate or rethink through the things that you're doing and reflect. A lot of re's. Reflect, recalibrate, reset, whatever you want to call it. But I don't really give a whole lot of power and credit to this idea of January 1st is the day to start fresh. So I don't do New Year's resolutions, but what I do like to do is set my intention for the next 12 months and decide kind of what is it based off of how the last year went, the last 12 months. What do I want the next 12 months to look like? And is there something that I can say or do or focus on, I guess is really the word there, is focus on, that's going to help me to accomplish my goals for the next 12 months. And so this year, my word of the year is simplify. And I chose simplify because I feel like it most accurately applies to a large majority of my life, both for business and personal and relationship and mental, emotional, physical, all the things. Simplify is what I'm looking to do in my life because these days I feel like, without getting on my major soapbox here, but just a quick little small soapbox, I feel like we have added so many things to our plates without really meaning to. And I think about with my own kids. My oldest daughter's 13, almost 14, and her school day is insane. I mean, she's there some days for over 12 hours. She gets there at 6:45 in the morning for early morning workouts and practice. She's there all day. If it's a game day, she stays at school until her game, which is typically not till 7:30 or 8 o'clock because they have all the games before hers. And it's just, there's between that and then she's on student council and she does additional basketball practices at a club court that we go to, a club gym that we go to. And she's taking advanced classes and she was in the UIL one act play and she's going to a UIL thing on Friday. And there's just so many things that she does in a day. And so over the holiday break, she was like, I just kind of want to lay in bed and watch TV. And I was like, that's fine. And if I'm looking at just her life as a 13-year-old human on this planet, it is so packed full with all the things. And that is just for a child. I look at what we do as adults and we take on and we keep adding all of these things to our plate of I should be doing this and I should be doing that. And well, I'm not doing this so that I feel guilty, or I did more of this thing than I should have and that makes me feel guilty. And I was just looking at all of that and thinking, what do I want the next 12 months to really look like? And I was like, you know what? I want less, but I want the less that I choose to focus on to have the most impact. So simplify really felt like the correct word to explain what I want the next year to look like and how I want it to feel and what I want the outcome result to be. My goal is that when I get to December 31st of this year, I can look back and I can go, you know what? I feel really good about the things that I gave my time and energy towards because they were intentional. They were what I really got a lot of energy out of, a lot of joy out of. It was not filled with things to just fill time. It was filled with things that actually bring meaning and purpose and value into my world. And so that is kind of the background for why I chose that. Now, if you're someone who loves setting resolutions and that works better for you, then by all means do it. If you're someone who's like, resolutions don't really work for me, then try this word of the year thing. I know it's kind of been popular and people will post them online and all the things. I have no intention of sharing mine other than with you here on the podcast, because I feel like if you're listening to this podcast episode, you're someone who has taken time to really get to know me and my life and my business. And so I will share this with you, but I'm not going to go posting this for likes and follows and all that kind of stuff. So, but I would love to know what your resolutions or word of the year are. So if you have them, if you have something you've set and you have a lot of kind of purpose behind that, please feel free to email me or message me on social media and let me know what yours is. But all of that to say that this first episode of 2026, I wanted it to be something that felt kind of refreshing and energizing and exciting and gets you looking forward to the rest of this year. And I know that this whole podcast is marketing based. And so I really took some time and thought about, what do I want this first episode of 2026 to give you? And what I'm hoping that this will walk away with is that it gives you some permission, but also gives you some hope that maybe if you've struggled with burnout or overwhelm in the last year, primarily because of your business or your marketing efforts, that this will give you hope that this year can be easier and better. Because in the vein of that word simplify, I want to help you simplify what you're doing in your business so that you are focusing on less, but with more intention and impact. So this week's topic is all about predicting and looking at what are the trends in 2026 for marketing your photography business. Now, obviously, like, I could put this out in 5 or 6 months from now. It could be completely different. But I will say that just based off of what I'm kind of seeing and what I'm hearing and what I'm getting from marketing experts that I talk to and people that are in the marketing space that are sharing their thoughts outside of the photography world, I kind of took their information and took the things that I've learned from them, along with what I'm seeing in the photography space, and put together a list of some things that I think are going to be the primary marketing focuses for 2026. Now, before we get into this and the things I think are going to be working well in 2026, I want to talk really quickly about social media, because you're going to find that as I go through this list of 6 different things, that social media is kind of left off this list. And if you've listened to this podcast or you know me at all, you know that's not necessarily a bad thing in my mind. And had the marketing experts all said social media is the end all be all for marketing, I would have put it on this list. But I am finding more and more people who are like, social media is not where people are getting their most bang for their buck when it comes to marketing, even with paid ads, even with large accounts, all of those things. It's starting to have a shift. And here's why I think it's shifting, or here's why I know it's shifting, actually, because there's been lots of reports done on this in the last several months, in the last year or two. Not only has social media evolved into something different than it was 5 years ago, the way people are using social media has evolved over the last several years. So 5 years ago, you could create a social media account. We'll just use Instagram as an example. You could create an Instagram account and you could post your content on there and you would get lots of attention. Depending on how often you posted, what kind of content you posted, the potential for you to create a large following was big. I mean, it was pretty low barrier to entry to create a substantial presence on social media.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Let me ask you something. How many hours have you spent in your business stressing over social media? fighting with an algorithm, trying to keep up with the latest trends, and just posting for the sake of posting, only to feel like you're spinning your wheels and nobody's even paying attention. I've been there, and let me tell you, it is the worst. But I have a fun little secret for you. Did you know that you don't actually need social media to keep your calendar full? Now, I know that goes against everything all of the other quote unquote experts are telling you to do in your business, but I am living proof that you do not need social media to grow your photography business. I have been successfully staying booked solid in my photography business for the last 8 years with very minimal social media use. And I am excited to show you exactly what I've been doing inside of a private podcast series. The 7-day booking blueprint is 8 power-packed episodes that you can binge all at once or listen to at your own pace. Each episode is actionable and designed to help you book more clients without relying on social media. If you're hearing this ad right now, that means that you are a fan of the Girl Means Business podcast. Thank you, by the way. But if you've ever found yourself saying, man, I wish I could just dive even deeper. I wish I could have a one-on-one sit down with Kendra and really pick her brain about all the things that she's doing in her business, then this podcast series is going to give you everything you've been hoping for. It is so packed with so much information that you are going to walk away feeling like you have the exact roadmap you need to grow your photography business. So if you're ready to hop off that social media hamster wheel and actually start seeing results in your business and start filling up your calendar, head down to the show notes and grab the link so that you can start listening right away. And that is because people were still kind of new. It was this novel idea that you could grow a business, and some businesses that rely solely on social media. And that was all kind of new, and it was fun and it was exciting. And people were still spending a lot of time on social media, and they were going to social media to find those things. And then this shift happened, and it happened pretty much in tandem with the invention of TikTok and short form video. And people started interacting with and using social media in a very different way. It was no longer I'm going to go and I'm going to scroll and I'm going to interact and I'm going to comment and I'm going to like and I'm going to have these accounts that I follow that post engaging content information. It is, I am going to hop on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, and I'm going to scroll through videos mindlessly for pure entertainment purposes only. This is an escape. It is not I am going to go to social media so that I can support someone in a small business. It is not, I'm going to go to social media because I want to see what all my friends are up to. It's not, I'm going to hop on social media so that I can see what the latest trends are in X, Y, or Z. People are going to social media to decompress, to be entertained, to mindlessly do something that does not require brain power. And so what we're finding is that as people are scrolling, they're engaging less. It's rare these days, like a like, a follow, a comment is so hard to get. It's almost easier to get someone to follow you than it is to get them to comment on your content or engage with your content anyway. And the reason why is because it's so easy just to swipe, swipe, swipe. If you're holding your phone, I'm right-handed. If I hold my phone in my left hand, I'll do it right now. I'm holding my phone in my left hand. I can open up Instagram and I can swipe all day with my thumb in my left hand. But if I have to reach across that screen and click a like button or reach across the screen and hit the comment button, it's less likely to happen. It's just easier for me to just scroll, scroll, scroll. And that is exactly what people are doing. This morning, as we were getting ready to go to school, my oldest daughter is up before anyone on earth should be up. And so she is up and ready to go. And she's on the couch, just on her phone for the last 10 or 15 minutes of the morning while the rest of us are getting ready to leave the house. And today I stood behind her as she was on the couch, and she's on, the only social media she has is Pinterest. She doesn't have TikTok or Instagram. She has Pinterest, and she can scroll videos on Pinterest just like you would on TikTok or whatever. And she's scrolling, and she's not even really watching the videos. It's like literally almost every 2 seconds it's scroll, 1, 2, scroll. She doesn't even really watch what the video is about. She just sees it, moves on, sees it, moves on. One might grab her attention. She stays for another 3 or 4 seconds, then she moves on. I never once saw her engage with any of the content. And that is what the majority of people on social media are doing. Think about your own social media habits or the habits of people in your family that you know. My husband's the same way. That's kind of his end of the day. We get in bed and the TV's either on or I'm reading a book or he's on his phone and he just, again, mindless scrolling. He never engages, he just scrolls. And so because of that, using social media as a form of marketing and using it as a primary form of marketing, which a lot of photographers are still doing, because I see this all the time in Facebook groups. How can I get more engagement? How can I post more consistently? Why is my content not being seen? I spent all this time creating this reel and nobody viewed it. I got 3 likes. It's constant. And I've tried so hard to shout it from the rooftops and tell people social media is not what it used to be. And it's not where you build a marketing strategy the way you used to. You have to find new strategies. So that is my state of the union when it comes to social media. And I promise you, I am not the only one who has that view on social media. And I'm not the only one who is saying these things about social media. Again, this all comes from research I've seen, read. I follow a lot of people online who this is what they do for a living. And my job to help streamline the content coming to you is to take in all of the extraneous content, simplify it down to what I want to share with you. And so this is just a tip of the iceberg of the content and the research I'm seeing on the trends in social media marketing and the fact that it is not going uphill, it is all going downhill. So if you have been one of those people who's hanging on by a thread with social media, this is my permission slip to you to cut that cord. There are other way better options out there to put your time into. I will say keeping a social media minimal presence is fine and it can be beneficial, but you don't have to post all the time and you don't have to spend all your time creating content. I'm giving you the freedom to walk away. So if it's not social media, what is it? Well, I have 6 different trends I see coming in 2025, and I'm going to go over them very basically because I want to dive deeper into these coming up in future episodes. So number 1 is going to be SEO focused marketing. This is how easily are you discovered online. Now, the best way to build your SEO is through things like blogs, Pinterest, YouTube, local keyword searches. Because I guarantee you, if you ask your clients, and I suggest this, if you have an inquiry form on your website, put on there, how did you hear about your business? And majority of my clients hear about me either from Google search, or they'll say a search, or a referral from a friend. Probably 90% of my clients come from a Google search or a referral of some kind from someone that they know. And so I put a lot of effort into my SEO. It's not fun and flashy and shiny. It is quiet marketing. It's things that I do on the back end. It's things I can do at night on my computer when everybody else in the house is asleep, or during the day when the kids are at school. It's not the, shiny thing, but it is the thing that works. So use tools like Google keyword search. There's other tools you can pay for if you want that will tell you what actual keywords people in your area are searching for, and use that to create content. Blogs, I've said it a million times, blogs are not dead. Blogs are a huge part of how you get your website found on SEO or on search engines. So if you are making a list of I only have the capacity to do 3 things for marketing this year, blogging should be one of them. And not just blogging your sessions, but blogging content that is going to get you noticed. And I'm going to talk about that a little further down here when we get into some of those other things. But any content that is going to set you up as an expert in your field is going to be beneficial in helping you get found and building relationships and trust with your potential clients. And I have tons of episodes on blogging. Same with Pinterest. I just recently, within the last 5 or 6 weeks, interviewed my Pinterest manager, Kelly, and I have it on the podcast. So if you want to go back and listen to that, she gives a lot of tips on how you can get started using Pinterest to help you get found there as well. Okay, number 2 is email marketing. It is no longer something photographers can say it's just nice to have. It is a strategic, powerful marketing tool. Because again, if you are not relying on social media, or if you are relying on social media and it goes away, what do you have left? There's no way for you to get a hold of your potential clients. I get this question a lot when it comes to email marketing is things like, well, I have, my past clients on my list and I will email them, but like who else, like what else do I do with an email list? Well, here's the thing. You create an email list of potential clients. You create an email list of people who are saying, I'm interested in your services someday. Maybe not right now, but someday. So think about if you go to an event, let's say you're a family photographer and you go to this like a back to school event at your kid's school or at any school. And let's say there's 100 people that come through that event and you have a table set up and you have images from your sessions and you have information about what you do. And they're walking by and they're picking up a little flyer or they're picking up a business card. They're saying hi, they're introducing themselves. You talk for a few minutes and they all walk away. It is now in their hands. You've given your information to them and you are waiting for them to go, I need to reach out to you. They're only going to do that probably once a year. And it's when they need family photos. And the odds that they have kept your information or that they have remembered what your name was, or that someone else hasn't already referred them to somebody else by the time they remember that you exist is going to be slim. And I'm someone who has a little bit of control issues. So when it comes to marketing, I want to be in control of my information. I want to be in control of when and where and how I can get in touch with people. And so having them come through this event and instead of just walking away with a flyer and putting the ball in their court, I want their email address. I want them to give me their email address. I want them to sign up for my email list. And then I now have control over staying in touch with them. I have control over how I reach out to them, how often, the conversation we have, the personality that they see, how they get to know about me and my business, and the connection we build. And that is powerful. I cannot say enough how much email has impacted my business, both on my marketing business and on the photography business. The number of people that I have talked to that have said the same thing. If you actually start using email marketing to build a list of potential clients that you can then contact at any time, that is like marketing gold. So let 2026 be the year that you actually start an email list. And if you need help doing that, I am here to help you. I have the email marketing starter kit linked down in the show notes. I offer email marketing support. I will help you get it all set up. I can help you create emails. I can, help you with any aspect or phase of the email marketing process you're at. And I have resources available for all that as well. So definitely check out that email marketing starter kit down in the show notes if you're wanting to make this the year of email marketing. Okay, number 3. So we've talked about SEO focused marketing, email marketing. Number 3 is a really interesting one. And it is one that, again, I've seen a lot of people kind of saying is going to be the focus moving forward. And I'm all here for it. And that is the idea that smaller audiences actually equal bigger results. So the days of worrying about how many followers do I have? Well, this person has 10,000 and I only have 500. So obviously they're doing better than me. That is long gone because follower accounts don't always matter. And follower accounts does not mean that that person has a more successful business. Smaller audiences can actually equal bigger results because you are focused in on actual people that are going to be in your area and want to work with you. So having local visibility is way more important than having online popularity. So if I'm a local photographer in Dallas And I look at my follower accounts on my Instagram and I realize that a majority of my followers, A, are other photographers, probably not my ideal client, and B, they live nowhere near Dallas. How is that helping me to grow my business? It's not. It just looks good on an Instagram app. It's not actually putting dollars in my pocket. But if I have 500 followers and all 500 are majority in my area and my ideal client, the reality is that is way more beneficial to my business than having 10,000 people who have no interest in ever working with me or the ability to ever work with me. So small audiences equal bigger results, and we're moving away from that vanity metric of how many followers do you actually have. Okay, number 4 is going back to what I said about local visibility. So hyper local marketing. If your audience is local, your marketing should also be local. This is the other thing that kind of ties into this idea of social media, is that people are posting these videos and they're like, oh, but I want thousands and thousands of views. Okay, but thousands and thousands of views from around the world, how does that benefit you if you're a local photographer? It doesn't. So we're shifting our focus from I want as many eyes on my content as possible to I want the right eyes on my content. So hyper-local marketing looks like building relationships on and offline in your actual community. So going to community events, being a part of vendor events, showing up, sponsoring things, creating connections that are going to lead to referrals, building out local collaborations, connecting with other businesses that you can share audiences with. Because this was something that I didn't put specifically on this list for this episode, but it's one that's been talked about a lot. And I've shared a little bit here on the podcast too. And that is the idea of sharing audiences. And so instead of trying to build an audience from a cold audience, borrowing the audience of someone who already has an audience that is similar to your ideal client is a great way to build up your email list or build up your follower account or whatever you're trying to build up. But instead of having to go out and find them on your own, collaborate with local businesses or small businesses that already have that audience established for their own business. But the bottom line here is that local focused marketing is going to get you a lot further than trying to reach a huge broad audience that is not necessarily going to be your ideal client living in your same area. Okay, 2 more to go. We're getting through them all, guys. I told you we're going to be quick. We'll deep dive into these later on. Number 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Personality-based brands. So there was a trend for a while of this idea of these kind of faceless accounts where people were saying, we're trying to market, this theory that you could create a successful business that didn't have an actual person or personality attached to it. And it was proven pretty quickly that those are not really like the best way to build a business. Some of them were quote unquote successful and that they would get a lot of followers because their content was something that appealed to a lot of people. But again, you cannot prove that those aren't purchased followers or they're bot followers. And the problem with this idea of a faceless account is that with AI and people having a limited amount of trust in some of these accounts, you really need to build a personality-based brand because that is how people are going to build trust with you. They need to know that you are an actual human running a business, not an AI robot, and that B, you are someone that they feel like they can have a connection with. Most of my clients that I work with, they end up coming back to me time and time again because we build a rapport, we build a relationship, and they feel like that they get to know me and I get to know them. And they will then feel more comfortable referring their family and friends to me or other business owners to me because they have that same trust and connection with me because they get to know me. I have one client who is a realtor and she comes to me every quarter and we do updated, brands, photos, and headshots. And I love working with her because we have gotten to know each other online and offline. Like we follow each other on Facebook. We're Facebook friends now, and we know about each other's lives. I know, about her son that's in college. She knows about my dogs and my kids, and we talk about business and we talk about local stuff, and it's become nice. But had I not been willing to share a little bit about my personality through my brand, and when I say personality through brand, I mean things like in my emails, I talk a lot about my personal life. I talk about my likes and dislikes and things like that. I let them see the messy side of my business and my life. I'm kind of an open book. And same here on the podcast. I think a lot of times people like you listening have listened for so long because I feel like someone that you know. And if your brand feels like it's just a logo and some pretty pictures, it's hard for people to have that trust and that connection with you. So let this be the year that you focus on creating a more personality-based brand. Okay, and then the last but not least, a big trend I'm seeing going into 2026 is setting boundaries around our business, both for mental health and just for promoting this idea of being able to create a business that is sustainable without burnout. Is always a really, really healthy, important thing to build out here. And so doing things like creating simple systems and automations that are going to take out the manual aspects of your job that could be draining you. This could be things like setting up automatic replies to emails when someone inquires about your photography services. It could be setting up workflows so that when someone books with you, you already have a predetermined set of emails that go out to them with information and details and answering questions and things like that. It could be outsourcing things when you can do that. If it means outsourcing your email marketing, I'm happy to do that for you. If it's outsourcing your editing, then do that. If it's outsourcing even just having your house clean so that you're not trying to do all the things and run your business at the same time. It's creating evergreen content that is not going to ever expire. So evergreen content is things that you can use year in and year out. So for example, if I am a senior photographer, then I'm going to create evergreen content around things like senior year bucket list and things to do around town your senior year, or creating content for families that is year round and not just seasonal, but things that can be reused, and then taking that content and repurposing it. So instead of reinventing the wheel, every time you create new content, whether it's an email, a blog post, a YouTube video, a podcast episode, a social media post, whatever it might be, don't feel like you have to do something brand new every single time. You can repurpose content you've already created in order to make that a little bit easier for you. So those are 6 trends I'm seeing going forward in marketing for 2026. And I know I want to, like I said a couple times, I want to dive deeper into a lot of these, but if you specifically have one that you are like, ooh, I want to know more about that. That sounds really interesting. Like local marketing. What are some things I can do to really market locally in my area without it having to be like these big extravagant things or spending a ton of money on trade shows and vendor events and things like that? Let me know, and I can make sure that is baked into one of our future episodes, or that's the focus of one of our future episodes, because I want this to be a podcast that is benefiting you. So answering the questions that you have. So please feel free to reach out to me and let me know what those questions are so that I can make sure I address them here on the podcast. Overall, the goal for 2026 should be to do less in your business marketing wise, but within that less, have things that create bigger impact and have more bang for your buck. The things that are going to get you the furthest down the road without having to feel like you're doing or adding more to an already full plate. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and a happy, happy new year. I am so excited to celebrate and spend the next 12 months helping you grow your business and your marketing. And I will see you back here next week, same time, same place.